The old guy DIY video that follows just demonstrates what two guys with $200 worth of plywood, a tape measure, level, screw gun, skill saw, glue, screws, a square, and a general idea of what they were trying to accomplish could make happen in 8 man-hours. So yesterday we started with an idea. My friend wanted a cost-effective Overlander bed with a couple of drawers beneath it. I miscalculated the wood, so we came up 1 drawer short. We'll finish that later. And his mattress is coming from Amazon today. So he was pleased with what we accomplished yesterday. This was a very straightforward, cost-effective deal. We used builder-grade plywood. We did not use birch or anything fancy. In the end, this will be painted, not stained. And the following video shows you the process we went through to make it. I hope you enjoy it. This old guy DIY video has to do with creating an overlanding bed platform with a couple of drawers beneath it for a 2004 Chevy Suburban 2500. So a friend of mine showed me a couple of videos from YouTube. Said, hey, can we put one of these in the back of my truck? I said, sure, I'll give you a hand. So today we're starting the process. We have 3 sheets of 3/4 inch plywood, 2 sheets of 1/2 inch plywood, and I'll explain the process to you as we go. This is our high-tech cut list. So you see our platform is across the top. We're going to have a vertical leg in the middle, legs on the 2 sides, and the goal today is to get the sides in at the bed platform and the 2 drawers. I told him I think we can do this in 3 hours, and then some other day or this afternoon, if we're making good progress, we'll put the little shelf portions in that go along the windows. And then my plan is to take a piece of 1/2 inch metal EMT and bend it like a Conestoga wagon across the top and screw that into each side with 2 wood screws to provide structure on the top. So now it's time for us to go to work. The length we want on this piece that will serve as the bed platform is 64 inches. So we've marked 64 inches, and then I took this level that'll act as a straight edge, put a clamp on each end, and gladly, when Milwaukee made their saw, it's exactly 5 inches from the blade to this outside edge. So by clamping this thing at 69, I lay the saw on there, so this will give me a nice straight cut, so I don't have to manipulate this sheet of plywood with the table saw. One of the features of this overlanding bed deck is that it will be hinged. So when he has the second row of seats up, this thing will be folded back on itself. And when he's someplace to camp for the night and he wants to roll his bed out, this longer section will fold out so he has a bed. And I found from an alignment standpoint, it's much easier to mark and drill the hinge holes before making the cut. That way the 2 pieces of plywood will line up almost perfectly. So in this case, I just use a level along the edge, lay the hinge next to the level. I came in 1.5 inches from the end. I'll mark it, and we're going to drill it here in just a moment, pre-drill it so we have the holes. I measured to the middle of the plywood piece, which is 24 inches. I laid the hinge there and traced around it with the pencil. So we'll have 3 marks with 6 screw holes each before we go through and make the cut. And that will make for nice, easy alignment when we have to screw the 2 pieces together to have the folding function. Now the hinge locations are marked. The little pilot holes are started. And now it's time to make the cut to take this thing to 64 inches. We're making some progress, so we have our bottom sheet, which is 1/2 inch plywood, 64 by 48. And then the top sheet, that will be the sleeping platform, 64 by 48. We just laid it in the truck to make us feel like, hey, we're making progress, although we haven't done much other than 2 cuts so far. Well, we're making some progress. We have the 10-inch middle vertical cut here, and on this piece of 1/2 inch plywood that's going to be the bottom, we just ran a line down the middle to indicate where this thing will be sitting. And now we're going to pre-drill some holes so we can line this board up beneath it, put some glue on there, put about 6 1 5/8 inch drywall screws in there, and this thing will be taking shape. In preparation for adding the vertical support, we pre-drilled the holes and then put 1 5/8 wood screws in there, just started. but they don't come through the other side. And now I'll put glue on one edge of this thing, stand it up next to this board, and we can just start at the top and work our way down one screw at a time and join these two pieces. Now we have tight bond waterproof wood glue liberally applied to that edge, and this is what I keep my wood glue stuff in. So if you have a leftover ketchup container, it's great for wood glue. I have a video on this someplace else on my channel. Now it's time to assemble. This thing is starting to take shape. We have the 3/4 inch top screwed into that 3/4 inch vertical member with the 1/2 inch piece on the bottom. Now we'll stand this little sandwich up, wipe the glue off of that inside joint, then we'll make the sides, install the sides, and square the thing up. This thing is taking shape. We're about 2 hours in. So we just put the hinges on where we had pre-marked and drilled the holes. I put a little 3/4 inch board on the floor there so it sat easily, and I held the wood in place while my buddy put the hinges on. Anyway, this thing folds nicer than a gate at the state park. So now I think we're going to set this beast in the vehicle just for dry fit, and we'll go from there. Alright, we put this thing in here, and initially we thought since it has a 48 inch bed it would be fine, but when you go to put this up it would run into the headliner, so we have to knock some off the corners, and when we measure that and make the adjustments, I'll tell you what those adjustments are. We pulled the structure out of the truck this far, and then I chopped 4 inches off the end here, took it from 32 to 28, and then I measured 4 inches in from the corner on this side as well as on this side, and then I cut that angle so hopefully it will clear the headliner. Now we're going to reinstall it and find out. Alright, so when this thing is in there, it's tighter than Dick's hat band. So the corners I cut off were not quite engineered properly. We have to make one more cut. So our technique to get this thing out is to take a piece of rope, run it through, have the other piece coming on the top. Then we effectively have 2 handles here with 1 man on each handle. So we've got a total of about 420 pounds of ass on this side of it. We're just going to yank and this box will come out. We established the correct angle. So this is like having a Sealy Posturepedic for Little House on the Chevy. So now this thing comes up. Oh yeah, look at that clearance. Lays down just like it was meant to be there. We're making progress. Now this is the bottom of the drawer, and we've installed the sliders. My buddy tells me this may be the most valuable part of this job if in fact it works out. So rather than using wheel bearings from roller skates or skateboards or whatever else, or $200 slides or stainless steel, we went with a super duper 24 pack of Magic slides from Menards. A couple of years ago they had these things free after rebate. I think they sell for about $6 a pack of 24 right now. So we have 24 of these sliders on this board, and with the nail that comes on the thing, it was a little bit over 3/4 of an inch. So I used my favorite cutting tool, this crescent wrench or crescent brand super duper snipper, and I just cut the ends off of the sliders before he pounded them into the board. So now we're going to flip this thing over, install it as the bottom, put the sides to it, fabricate the drawer, and we'll be done here shortly. As we build the drawer, we put the 3 rows of sliders on the bottom, and then on the sides we just put 3 sliders, and we left the hole that the drawer goes into large enough that these things will touch the sides, but the rest of the wood will not. So it should keep friction to a minimum, but still keep the drawer positioned nicely. As we continue with this project, we just made the spacer here that will go under the folding portion of the bed platform. So the platform falls back, and we just took 2 pieces of 3/4 inch plywood, ripped them to 10 inches tall, and then put 2 hinges in the middle. So when it's time to use this, the guy that owns it will just flip this thing out, making a little triangle here. And then he grabs the bed portion. Lets it come down. Everything is supported and happy. And then when it's time for transportation, this thing is just folded in half. Dropped right in here behind the seat. Time to go get back in action. Well, when we started this adventure, I told my friend I expected 3 hours. Now we're 4 hours in. We're hanging it up for today. I didn't do a good enough job on my own notes indicating what I was going to use for the drawers, so I ran out of plywood. But on this side, we have a pretty cool drawer. Now I just drilled a hole and used paracord because it's quiet, it's strong, and it'll just fold down out of the way when the unit is not being used and the back hatch on this vehicle is closed. So anyway, we've got a paracord handle, so give that thing a yank. And we made a little compartment here for his Camp Chef grill. And to retain the thing, we didn't want it sliding over to the side and hitting the knobs on this middle divider. So I just took a piece of paracord, and down at the bottom of the grill, we drilled a hole and put a knot on the back. And then up here on the top, I just cut an angled notch with my circular saw, and I put a pretty big knot in the paracord here. So when he's ready to travel, you just grab the paracord, put it in there, and it pulls itself taut. So I think that'll be a nice low impact way to keep that thing from moving around. Very cost effective, it's soft so it won't damage anything. And then in situations where you can see here this thing drops down a little bit as it's coming out of the vehicle, but we made a third leg. So this is a piece that was banister for a staircase. It's about 36 inches long. I just screwed a piece of 12-inch long, 3-inch wide, 3/4 inch plywood to the top, and we'll show you how this thing goes in. So when he gets where he wants to go, I'll just pick up on the handle, tuck that third leg in there, and everything is nice. And this is how that leg looks beneath. We took the little slider out of the middle so this thing could make good contact here in the middle, and it does. So one other thing we did is made a feature for his stove, and he'll show you that right now. So when he gets where he wants to go, unhook the rope, remove the stove. So we made a little base plate that just has these runners on the side, so it will sit on top of the drawer. So he pulls that thing out, just sets it in place, and now he has a platform on the end. Now he's up here where he has easy access doing his cooking. So I think that'll be a nice feature for him. We'll know more after he actually uses it. But now he has an option. If he wants to cook down in the drawer for whatever reason, he can. And if he just wants to do it up here on the end of the drawer, got the third leg beneath it for support, and this little shelf that stores beneath the grill for transport. So that's all we're going to do today. I hope you saw an idea or two here that may help you, and we'll be back as we do more work. Have a great day.